You always start with identifying the lateral sulcus of the landa or Sylvian fissure. Okay? Yes. And then the central sulcus. These are the two important parts. So, what is this? That's your Sylvian fissure, huh?
Sylvian fissure.
Or the central sulcus.
Okay.
Lateral sulcus. Lateral sulcus. Where's your central sulcus? Where? This one? Huh? Okay, so this one. That's your central sulcus. Okay, so if that's your central sulcus, this is your precentral gyrus. This is your postcentral gyrus. Huh? Okay. So, you said lateral sulcus or Sylvian fissure, central sulcus, precentral gyrus, postcentral gyrus. So, let's go to the frontal. Where's your frontal lobe? Okay, this one. Okay, frontal lobe. So, divided into, you read in your book, you have to know the boundaries. If you go from one specimen to another, they would not look the same. So many variants. So it's important that you memorize the boundaries because that's the only way you can identify the structure. Okay? So your superior frontal is divided into the superior frontal gyrus. This, and then you have a sulcus below it. So that's the superior frontal sulcus. This specimen has a big middle frontal gyrus, so entire thing is the middle frontal. Okay? In other specimens, it's not that big. And then this one, the entire thing. So, and then you have a sulcus behind it. We do not have a middle temporal sulcus, right? So below the middle temporal gyrus is immediately your inferior frontal sulcus. So middle frontal gyrus, inferior frontal sulcus. Now your inferior frontal gyrus is divided into 3 parts. Look at your thing there. Okay. Now it is mutilated in this specimen. So let's try to see this specimen. So first, you need to know first. This is not very much dissected, huh? So you need to know again your. This one is your Sylvian fissure, right? This is your central sulcus. So that's your precentral gyrus. This is your frontal portion, okay? So this is your superior frontal, gyrus, sulcus, middle frontal gyrus, inferior frontal sulcus, inferior frontal gyrus, which is subdivided into, read.
Pars orbitalis, triangularis, and opercularis.
Okay, so what is the boundary of the pars? You are not asked to identify the orbitalis, but then you have one of the boundary is used to identify your triangularis, correct? Okay, so read what's the boundary of your orbitalis.
Fissure and anterior horizontal round of Sylvian fissure.
Okay. Trace your Sylvian fissure. Look if it has branches. Okay, so you see this branch coming from the Sylvian fissure, correct? You have another branch coming from the Sylvian fissure, correct? Okay, so this is the anterior horizontal ramus. This is your anterior ascending. These are branches of the Sylvian fissure. So it is said from your manual that your orbitalis is bound by your anterior horizontal, here I think this is the one, anterior horizontal ramus and the Sylvian fissure. Okay, so this is your pars orbitalis. Your pars triangularis, this is triangular in shape, bound by your anterior ascending and the anterior horizontal ramus of the Sylvian fissure. That's why I told you need to still identify the anterior horizontal ramus because that's one of the boundary of your triangularis.
This triangle thing, Doc, that's the triangular, right?
Yeah. And then your opercularis is bound by your...
Bounded by anterior ascending ramus and precentral sulcus.
Okay, so this is your anterior ascending, right? So that's your opercularis and trace. This is our central sulcus, remember? So this is your precentral. So you trace it down, goes down here. So this opercularis is bound by your precentral sulcus and the anterior ascending branch of your sylvian fissure.
So this one mismo, Doc?
Oh. Kay central sulcus naman ni nato, right?
Oh, Doc.
Okay, so this is the precentral gyrus.
Oh, Doc.
That's your postcentral gyrus. So this is your precentral sulcus. You have to trace it down there.
Kana.
Yeah, it's not dissected.
Tapos kaning sa middle lang, Doc, ang opercularis, Doc.
Yeah. I think this is already part of the
Murag
temporal.
So tapat lang
Paduong
yapon
na ni
sila,
siya.
Doc. Murag sunod lang siya sa triangle.
Yeah. But you really have to know the boundaries kay you have extra gyri means at times you have extra gyrus which is not found in other specimen.
Do we just always start with the central gyrus? So it's always the central, then we try to find it.
Central sulcus is very important and your lateral sulcus or the sylvian fissure. Okay, so you're done with your frontal, huh?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, let's go back to this specimen, I think. So we go to your parietal. So here, parietal man, diba?
Yes, Doc.
So you have how many parts in your parietal?
4, Doc. 4, Doc, plus 2 ang interior parietal.
Okay, so basically it's divided into your superior parietal and your inferior parietal. I want to go back here. You said this is our central sulcus, correct?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. And this is our postcentral gyrus. Okay. This is your postcentral sulcus.